Hi, it's Kathy Sipple, and I'm here with the tech tip of the week for my social media coaching subscribers. And last week we talked about getting your pebble into the pond and making a ripple. This week I want to show you how you can step it up a notch and do what I'm going to call riding the wave or catching a wave. And basically, instead of starting your own buzz, you're going to see how you can participate in somebody else's conversation and use some mechanisms within Facebook to engage more fully than you would as just a typical broadcasting update. So I wish there was an easy button like there is at Staples, but we're going to make it easier. So let me just go ahead and tell you what we're going to be talking about. I mean, first of all, you know, it's nice to share. If you're not using those share buttons on your website, make sure that you're making it very easy for others to share your own information. So yes, we have been talking about social media, but from your website you can also make it possible for people to share on their own social media sites. You don't necessarily have to be engaged yourselves on each of these sites to just use the widgets. I think what we're looking at here is called Share This. If you happen to have a WordPress site, that is actually my favorite platform to recommend that people build their websites on, because it's real easy to install these widgets or plugins to make this stuff available. If you've got a WordPress site, look for Add This or Share This as a plugin. There are several others that do that too. Okay, but beyond that, let's talk about something that might happen. Let's say that you get a mention in the press. That's a really good thing, right? I mean, maybe you've worked hard to get that press up front. Maybe you wrote a press release, or maybe you just got kind of lucky. Once you get that post, what do you do with it? I have seen some people do a good job of uploading those press releases to their website, and that's great. Don't stop doing that. But what I'd like to suggest is that you think about ways you can leverage that mention. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, for instance, if you have not yet set up a Google alert, let's talk about that real quick first. Google alerts help you to manage things that you want to stay on top of. If you don't know what Google alerts are, just go to google.com/alerts and it will show you how you can set them up. I've got quite a few set up. I would recommend that you set one up for your name, your company name, any kind of industry buzzwords or geographic things that you might want to stay on top of. Let's just go ahead. I'm going to use as an example today 2 of our subscribers that are currently in the program. Julie Rizzo won, I think last year or 2 years ago, an award from the Society of Innovators and was mentioned in Northwest Indiana Business Quarterly magazine. She actually was mentioned in an article that was written by Rick Richards. Let's see if I can find that. All right, of course I'm not finding it with both of your names, but you can see over here as I'm typing this in, I do see one post over here that's got honoring innovators, and I know that that's the one. Okay, my point is, Julie would probably know about that coming up anyway, but what I'd like to encourage is, instead of just uploading that article to Julie's site, taking that article and posting that URL to her Facebook page, and then also perhaps posting it to the people's pages that are mentioned in that article. Let's see if I can find that same article. Sorry about that. I thought I had it here. Honoring Innovators. Okay. So my idea is to show gratitude. You know, Julie could say, hey, thanks, you know, Rick Richards, for the nice job you did on this article. Julie could write that and put that on, you know, Rick Richards' Facebook page, and that would probably be very welcome from Rich because she's thanking him for a job well done. Julie could also post the same link on the Northwest Indiana Business Quarterly Facebook page. And by the way, they have a little Facebook icon on their website. Make sure that that's always clear where people can see not only how to share your information, but also how to find you, on your Facebook page or Twitter or wherever else you're hanging out. Okay, another couple people that are mentioned here. Ivy Tech. Julie could, I think, make a case for putting a post on Ivy Tech and saying, thanks for sponsoring this event. Society of Innovators is also mentioned on this post. Anybody that's mentioned in this post, you could either send a congratulatory message so that you're not so much talking about you as talking about them, thanking them for hosting such a good event, thanking them for recognizing you, thanking your, or congratulating your co-winners. And so let's just look at how that would work. I'm going to go ahead and copy the URL. So up at the top is where you get that URL, and I'm not really going to post this because it's actually happened, a number of months ago, and I'm not any of the people that we're talking about involved. Let's see, Society of Innovators. Okay, unpracticed. Here we go. Let's see if this is the one. Boo, boo, boo. Okay, Society of Innovators, here we go. So they've got 122 likes on their page. Julie may have more, she may have less, but odds are she's got perhaps different, people than what Society of Innovators has. So she could post that link that we just copied into memory, and she could type something like, by the way, once you've got that link posted, you can actually get rid of it. You don't need to keep that on your Facebook page. You could say something like, thanks so much for, the mention. I'm honored, to be a part of this celebration, or, whatever you want to say. Okay, so when she does that, this will actually show up on the Society of Innovators page as well as her own. So I'm saying that she could, write some kind of a custom message whenever there's a mention. All right. So think about this. You don't have to wait for a press mention. You can actually go ahead and congratulate somebody on an award, somebody that you want to be known to. You could do this for a conference coming up. You could post on their conference page. You could post on the page of somebody that you want to do business with or meet, something like that. So I'm just going to ask you to stretch your ideas about, going from broadcaster to going to somebody that's sharing. I call this riding the wave because you're capitalizing on a buzz that's already happening and you're just making yourself a bigger part of it. So let me know what you do with this example. I'll be really excited to hear about your ideas. Another thing that came up this week was Bella Photography happened to mention that they were going to Cincinnati, Ohio for a photography convention. And I actually used to live in Cincinnati, Ohio, so I kind of got into, looking up their event online. I think it's called Photo Pro Expo. And I'm just going to switch to Twitter for a second because we haven't talked about Twitter a whole lot. So we talked about headline. You could maximize some kind of a press release. You could do the same kind of thing, on Twitter or Facebook. But let's go ahead and I put in Photo Pro Expo in the Twitter search, and I can actually see here's some people who are talking about this exact event. So if I wanted to be strategic and make some connections at this event, I could start following the people that are talking about it, or I could start using, this language in my own Twitter updates, that kind of thing. Some of the more savvy event organizers are actually assigning what's called a Twitter hashtag at the time of registration. So when you see this funny little number sign or pound sign in front of text on Twitter, that is called a hashtag. It's searchable text, and people use that to kind of organize their thoughts and tag their post with a specific string of text. And generally, events are one of the better ways I've seen this work. You can also do it by geography. Let me just kind of show you a quick geographic hashtag. Pound sign or number sign, hash mark, NW Indiana is one that's commonly used here in Northwest Indiana where I live. People say, why hashtag? Why do you need it? Well, if we didn't have that hashtag, we could all be talking about Northwest Indiana and just be using slightly different language or, non-searchable language to realize that we're talking about the same thing. You only get 140 characters with Twitter, so if I had to depend on spelling out Northwest Indiana each time, I'd quickly run out of real estate. So when we do this, it's kind of a shorthand way to tag it. You can search on this, and by appending that hashtag to your tweets, you're going to kind of be on the preset channel. You're going to let people know that you're intentional about being a part of that space, okay? So these are just a few ideas of how you can ride the wave and step up your messaging another notch this week. So let me know how it goes. Make sure you stay on people's posts where you're not, you're not trying to steal the spotlight. This works out a whole lot better if you pay attention to the, social mores and make somebody else look good rather than trying to steal the spotlight. All right? Any questions, you can email me, Kathy@mysocialmediacoach.com. Let me know how it goes.